And now, sports with Brianna Mellon.
Well, hello. Thank you for joining us here on Talk at 10 on Wednesday nights. And if you're in tune with the sports scene here in Amarillo, the man sitting next to me is no stranger to you back at home. Julian Reese here, the head coach of Amarillo Venom. Thanks for being here with me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, you wear many hats. You're a father, you're a husband, you are a trainer, head coach of Amarillo Venom. This past season you coached at funeral director. This past season you coached at San Jacinto as well. Is that just how your brain's wired? You just like to have your hands on many different things?
That's just, I guess, how I'm wired. My parents had us involved in a lot of different things, and they were always on the go, and that's how our family is. I mean, I'm one of 13 children, so we were always on the go doing something. So it doesn't stress me out, and my wife's okay with it, so I'm good with it as well.
That's how it rolls, yes. Well, going back to where you grew up in Indiana.
Fort Wayne.
Fort Wayne. I would say as a high school senior, you had to battle adversity kind of more than the average fourth year. Can you kind of just talk a little bit about that and maybe how that kind of shaped you going forward into your college experience?
Yeah, well, coming to the end of my school year, my father went into the hospital. He got sick from work, and it ended up being where we didn't know if he was going to live or die. And I was the oldest at home at the time, and I turned out all my scholarships and decided I was going to try to stay at home and help my mom and my dad out. But then he came out of the hospital and said, "What are you doing here?" And my librarian, Mrs. Kerbel, she called her son, who was coaching at Iowa Central Community College at the time, and said, "Hey, I have somebody that you probably would want." And she made a call to him. He said, "We'll make room," and they made room for me. And I didn't get to play quarterback, but I played receiver and running back there. My freshman year, sophomore year, that's when I started playing quarterback.
Okay, and then you played quarterback at Iowa State, and then
Indiana State.
Indiana State.
Sycamore.
State. Sycamore. Okay, and then you ended up here in Amarillo. How did you end up here in Amarillo from Indiana?
Well, I got hurt my senior got hurt in college playing basketball. Hurt my shoulder playing intramural. Should have never done it, but so my chance of going to the NFL slipped away. But I went home and played for the Fort Wayne Freedom. Got to play with my cousin Adrian, so that was a great thing. He's like one of my favorite players growing up. It's my own family member, so I got to play with him. And then I went back to school and became receivers coach. And they actually were. The Dusters, Coach Faulkner and Coach Lyles, were looking at another one of my teammates, and they saw me on the film. And so they gave me a call, and I called my dad. I said, "Hey, I got a chance to play football. What do you think?" He said, "Get out there and go play." So I came to Amarillo in April 2004.
And we're looking at pictures right now. You were a part of what was then, as you mentioned, the Amarillo Dusters before the Venom. Yeah, and in 2004, your first year, you led them to a championship, and then obviously became the head coach of the Amarillo Venom. What was it kind of like transitioning from, the player to now the coach of the team many years later?
I never thought that would ever happen. I didn't plan on it. So, again, I didn't really want it to happen, but I was done playing. I hurt my shoulder, and I couldn't pick up my son, and I thought about what some of the NFL players said about not being able to play with their kids if they played too long or whatever. So I was like, I'm finished. And then Joe Margado asked me he was a GM at the time, said, "Hey, would you like to come help the team out?" I said, "Sure." And I became the head coach. And then Danny Schneider, Coach Snipes, he came and we took over the last 5 games of the season that year. We won 4 straight. And then we lost that last game. That was when my father had passed away, and I went home. So I enjoyed it, and we won. That very next year, the Tuckers took over, and we were actually the head coach and assistant coach right off the back, and we won the championship at LSFL, and then we won again the next year.
Right, you have 3 championship appearances in just the past 5 years. What do you kind of just contribute to the success you've had here with the Venom franchise? Last year, you guys just fell in that last game to Wichita Force, but
she had to bring that up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to
3 points. Yeah. You got to learn to humble yourself and be able to grow each day. Coach Lyles left us with words that always ring a bell to me: day by day, get better and better. And we do that same thing as a coach, try to get better each year, try to get the players better each year. We have a great staff. Stephanie does a good job in the front office. She let me do my thing on the football field. And we try to go get players, and I try to make sure I get character guys, you know, guys that, you know, they're going to be wild on the football field, but can be, you know, good community people too.
And so when is the first Venom game?
First game is actually February 25th. We're going to be playing against an all-star team out of Mexico. The guys will start coming in February 17th, 18th, around there. First practice will be February 20th.
You excited about this group of guys you guys have?
I'm excited every year. I mean, like I tell teams, we look good on paper, you know. So I'm very hard. I'm a hard coach. That's how. I mean, I was coached that way since I was 9, and I think that's part of it. They kind of get away from what we're doing now in athletics for kids. We're a little too soft with them. And you got to give them tough coaching so they can handle it when they get older. And Coach Starner Hollins with the M&O Raiders, and my dad and my uncle Hurt, they all did that with us, and it molded me to who I am.
Awesome. Well, we're going to have you back when Venom gets into the season.
I'm happy.
Excited you could be here tonight. We can't wait for Venom season to start. Well, Dave, we'll have one last look at your forecast right after the break.